Good evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I hope you guys had a great day today, and I hope you had a great trading session. This is the daily trading update video for the February 7th session. If you missed that live stream, I'll link that up in the iCards. As you can see, I did have a red day today. Again, should not have been a red day. There were mistakes that I made, things that I was not paying attention to, and all of that. And we'll talk about that when we get on the charts. So the gross loss today was $235. When you add in the $55 in commissions, you get a net loss of $290. I took 14 trades today. 3 of them won, 5 of them lost, and then there were 6 break evens, and then there was one trade that actually I did not get filled on. I still don't even understand how I didn't get filled because the lag wasn't higher than the close of the bar, which is typically when I get the no fill. So not sure about that, but that one did ended up taking profit. And out of the 14 trades, 7 trades that I took were invalid. 7. 4 of them lost, 3 of them broke even. Now, some of them were invalid with things that I already knew. I just was not really paying close attention. And then other ones were more so like patterns that I've been consistently seeing, but not fully paying attention to because I was focused on other things prior. So like I was explaining on the stream, what you focused on last week might not be what you focus on this week as far as like what you're seeing in the markets and what you want to pay attention to when it comes to your strategy. So some of these losses were like patterns I was noticing and keeping in the back of my mind, like I feel like every time I see this happens. But because I was so focused on other aspects of my strategy, I never really like solidified a rule for these things. But once you start focusing on the other stuff and now this comes to the forefront, once you get a couple losses under your belt, it's like, okay, I knew that pattern was something I was losing a lot with. So that's kind of the story of today. So let's go ahead and get into the charts. There was one trade that I missed. There were one that I sat out of, and I'll talk about why. Okay, so let me scroll back a little bit. So I'm going to do everything on the Renko charts again because I did stream with the Renko charts. So this is the first trade that I just completely missed out on. This is a pattern, a new pattern for me. I tried to backtest this when I first started like creating the volume-based strategy, but I couldn't really see anything consistent with it. But now I'm able to see the consistency, and because it's still so new and it doesn't set up super often, like maybe once a day, a couple times a week, I just wasn't really paying attention. So that one was a complete win right there. Then scrolling along, this trade right here. So this one I actually just sat out of, and the only reason why I did is because there was a resistance level like right here, either right here or right above it. And so because my entry was, pretty close to it, if I zoom in, you can see, I was just like, I'm not really quite sure about it all the way, just because that resistance level was there. Now, I told you guys in yesterday's video and even in yesterday's live stream that I did notice that like if I'm in a sell and I'm coming towards a sell rotation or a resistance level, I should be able to not have to break even because I'm in a sell. Now, if I'm in a buy and I'm going towards a sell rotation or resistance level, totally different. Yes, I need to break even. So because I didn't really look much into having to break even at this particular type of resistance level, I just stay out of it. But you can see that trade was a win. All right. So next trade, this was the first invalid trade that I took. This is like a set rule, so I'm not even really sure how I didn't pay attention to it, but I didn't pay attention to it, and it is what it is. Next trade here. This was, I didn't really have this rule completely set, but again, just the thought process of, hey, like this particular pattern should follow the same rules of another pattern setup that I have. But again, it wasn't a solidified rule. After this loss right here, it's going to be a solidified rule because it's what makes the most sense. Because I consistently see it lose pretty much. All right, and then coming along, there was not a lot of volatility today, so I didn't have a whole lot of setups. All right, so this next trade right here broke even. This next trade loss, this was so far, this is like a valid, just complete loss. But there is a specific pattern that's set up here. I think the level was like somewhere around here. This level went through the bar of this candle and the bar of that candle. And so I'm kind of iffy on that particular setup. On a different setup, I definitely wouldn't have taken it, but this one was kind of like a different one. So then coming along, we had a really huge push up. This trade right here, I actually was able to break even out of. The seller pressure came in shortly after I got into the buy. We're going back towards the new session high. And so I went ahead and I broke even. It created the outside bar and kept going. However, even despite all of that, because it started with a double bottom, I wasn't supposed to take that trade anyway. And I think what happened was, because this was such a long push up and it started at 9:07 and this didn't happen till 8 minutes later. By this point, I wasn't even thinking about the fact that this started with a double bottom. I'm gonna be honest with you. So that was just on me. All right, so next trade here was a break even. Again, going back towards the VWAP and the new session high. Seller pressure came in, so I went ahead and broke even. This is the next trade. This one ended up winning. Uh-oh. That was a win going back towards the new session high. So another pattern that I've been noticing is there's only certain times, and it's very few times, that I can take the first pull back to my major level. Okay. This was one of the trades that it did end up happening and it did end up breaking even. However, based on what I've been paying attention to for a couple of weeks and what happened later on in the session, which I'll show you, I'm no longer taking the first pull back to my major level for the most part. So that was the first time that happened in this session. All right, so this trade right here was just a divergence trade to continue the buy. However, it started with buyer pressure instead of seller pressure, like typical divergence would be. You have seller pressure, but it's by divergence and vice versa. But this one actually was buyer pressure, and it immediately had seller pressure come in. So I went ahead and broke even, and you can see I broke even just in time because a couple of ticks later, we had the outside bar here that would have stopped us out, or stopped me out, and then continued in the direction. So this trade right here had me on the stream going through my back test data, right? Because I'm like, I feel like I've been noticing certain patterns with this one, but it wasn't even any of that. It wasn't any of that. So basically what ended up happening with this, you guys can see up here, we have the new session high. We push down. There was not this. I shouldn't even taken that one. Good divergence, but it wasn't enough to really support going back to that new session high. So that was just an idiotic loss. Okay. So a couple more trades. So this is the second time in this session that I had that first pull back to the major level. You guys can see immediately when I got into the sale, it went one tick and just reversed. And this trade right here was like, okay, you've seen enough. No more. No more first pullbacks to the major level. It's just pointless. Very next trade, we got a win there. This trade right here is another pattern that I've been feeling like I've been seeing, but because I removed my middle level out, I was just like, I know it's there. I could see the marker that is there, even though the actual level's not there. And essentially what happened was my minor trend changed to an uptrend like somewhere around here, but I'm still trying to get into the sale. So with me no longer having that middle level there, I just cannot do it. Now, if this stayed a downtrend, even though it was above my minor level, I could have continued to trade it. But because that trend changed, it's just no longer taking it. Next trade was a win. And that's that. So let's go ahead and get into the trail and drawdown update. So as you guys can see, I still have $900 left in drawdown on this account, which does make me happy. Despite not being where I want to be for the week, I am happy about it. Like I said, my two goals is either to pass the account by the end of the week or just at least make sure it doesn't die. So with me having $900 left in drawdown, I should be able, unless we have just a horrible trading like the market conditions are just really horrible over the next 2 days, I should be able to keep this account alive. The 250Ks will be coming back on Monday. That's all I care about. So $900 in drawdown, I should be able to keep this account alive. So we'll see. So that's the daily trading update video for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. But other than that, I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time for the live stream. Have a good rest of your evening.